The Brain Dispenser.
Hello, and welcome to a new episode of The Brain Dispenser. I am Steve Guns, and I'm your captain. This week, we're going to be talking about bands that you never heard of, but you absolutely should, because I can't think of no good reason of why you haven't heard of these amazing bands. And you wonder, why am I your captain this week? Well, I'm gonna be taking you on a submarine ride, and we're gonna go to the depths of the great beneath. And we're gonna be digging up the treasures that lie within. So hold on, because it's gonna be one hell of a ride. What I've done is put a playlist together for y'all that you're gonna be listening to on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you want to. It's gonna be available. Links in the description of the podcast. And some of these bands are new. Some of them are very new. Some of them are newish. And one of them is not so new, but it's absolutely fantastic, and they rock so hard. They all rock so hard. And I hope you dig it. So let's get started, shall we? So the first band that we're going to be talking about tonight is formed in 1985 in Orange County, California, and that is Fumanchu. Originally, they were named Virulence, and they were a hardcore punk band in 1985. And in 1990, they reformatted as Fumanchu and became this garage stoner rock band. And their debut album came out in 1994, which is an absolute banger. The only consistent member throughout the band's career has been guitar player and vocalist Scott Hill. They've had a bunch of lineup changes over the years. And these guys are the ultimate skate band. I don't know how to skate. If you don't know how to skate, just go to the skate park, get a skateboard, and blast Fu Manchu, and I'll guarantee that you'll be doing 1080s or whatever it is that skaters do, because this is like automatic, just makes you want to shred. You know, as in shred like skater shred, not a guitar shred. But they also shred some fucking sick riffs, influenced by Black Sabbath kind of thing, you know, that stoner rock thing that they do. Black Sabbath was really the originators of all those bands. They're their big daddies. But, however, Fu Manchu for me is a lot more punk rock than a lot of the stoner contemporaries. Stoner rock can get very metal, very dark and creepy and noisy, and it almost goes into that doom metal kind of sound. And Fu Manchu just is a lot more punk rock. It's still heavily, backboned riff music, and it makes you want to bang your head on every song. Is like just like fuck yeah. And the songs that I got on the playlist for you are Evil Eye out of their 1997 album The Action Is Go, and California Crossing from the California Crossing album in 2001. They have quite a vast discography. They're still doing shit. They just put out a new single on September. And for me, they're my favorite albums. Like, check out the songs in the playlist. But my favorite albums are The Action Is Go, King of the Road from 2000, and California Crossing. And every time I hear them, it's like I can always just put on Fu Manchu, and it's a good band to rock out to. And they came up in that scene in Orange County in the desert with Caius, which is Joshua Homie's first band before he went on to do Queens of the Stone Age. And they came up with that in that scene back in the 90s, and they're still rocking. Scott Hill's a great songwriter. I love the guitar. The riffs are so good, and the fuzz is so thick that you can run your fingers through it. And I love myself a good fuzz, because once you start playing guitar with fuzz, trust me, you don't want to go back to distortion, because the fuzz just, it's so much better. And all the bands that I got on this playlist kind of fit into this kind of skater California vibe. Two of them are not from California. The rest of them are all from California. However, I said we're going on a submarine ride to the underground. We're going on a submarine ride in the deep oceans of the California coast. Does that even make sense? The deep oceans of the coast? I don't know, but this is the Brain Dispenser. Shit doesn't have to make sense. However, let's move on to our next band. The next band in our underground sonic voyage hails all the way from Oxford, Mississippi, and they're called Bass Drum of Death. What a badass name, right? So, what would you imagine out of a band called Bass Drum of Death? Think about it for a second. That's not it. These guys are a sort of garage punk band. It's called like garage rock, lo-fi punk, noise rock. It's all of those things. But to me, it doesn't make any difference what kind of subgenre you choose to put on it. This thing turns me on so high. And I love it. I love every song that they got. The main songwriter, founding member, John Barrett, he started recording the first record in his home with a USB microphone, and he played everything. He did the vocals, he did guitars, bass, and drums all by himself. And they were formed in 2008. Right now they are John Barrett on guitars and vocals, Jim Barrett, his brother, and Eric Pansy on drums, I suppose. His brother must be on rhythm guitar. They don't have bass live that I've seen, but it's really great. The first time I heard about them was on GTA 5, actually. They were on the Vinewood Boulevard radio station. If you play GTA 5, you know what I'm talking about. I haven't played it in a long time. All the records are super consistent. GB City was the original album that they did, that John Barrett did all by himself with a USB microphone. If that's not punk rock, I don't know what is. Then they got their self-titled Bass Drum of Death from 2013, Rip This on 2014. Then they went on a hiatus, I think, in 2015, and came back in 2018 with their next album, Just Business, and they're working on a new record as we speak, and they just put out a double single just like this week or a week ago called Too Cold to Hold and Wait. And the songs that we got on our playlist are Electric, which is so good, out of the Rip This album. And this song is so electric. This band is so electric. It has that sound. It's like really punk rock, like power chord riffs. Some of it sounds like Nirvana, but it doesn't sound like Nirvana. These guys really crafted their own sound. And it's that kind of guitar sound that you can hear the electric current going through it. It's fussy, it's distorted, it's delays and chorus, and it has a lot of effects, really experimental sounds. But the music is straightforward rock and roll, and it turns me on so much. And I feel like this band should be getting a whole lot more credit, man. I feel like they're so unknown out of fucking Oxford, Mississippi, right? And then we got Too High, which gets me all the way too high. I love the lyrics. The pre-chorus goes, and if it drives me crazy, I'll do it every time. And that's words to live by. If it drives you crazy, do it every time. Get high, man. Get high on life. Get high on love. Get high on rock and roll. And Bass Drum of Death makes me think like I'm driving on the 405 in California or whatever that road is that goes like through the coast, and it just makes you want to ride down there with a car with the top off and just chilling, feeling the California sun, the breeze on your forehead, the wind blowing your hair, and it's so chill. They actually have such a chill delivery, it's not as punk rock as it is, as electric as it is. They are so chill that I feel anybody could get into this band, and it's always a great band to just blast and have a good time and pretend you're driving on the beach in California, although they're from Mississippi. And now I'm gonna take you all the way to London, England, with the new band Counterfeit, formed in 2015 with current members Jamie Campbell Bower, Roland Johnson, Tristan Marmont, Sam Bauer, and Jimmy Craig. These guys bring it, man. I don't know how I exactly came across Jamie Campbell Bower's Instagram. Apparently this guy's an actor as well, and he was in Sweeney Todd and some of the Twilight movies, and even played Harry Potter. He didn't play Harry Potter, he played young Tom Riddle in the Harry Potter saga, which is pretty cool. So he's already a big name in the industry, but I'd never heard of him. And I'm so glad that the first time I heard of him was through his band Counterfeit. He's the lead vocalist. They started out in 2015 with their single Come and Get Some. I think it's more of an EP. But what a great title, Come and Get Some. It's so daring and it's so tempting at the same time. It's like, come and get some, motherfucker. See what you got. And at the same time, it's like, come and get some of this awesomeness that I got for you. And then they put out their first debut album. How redundant. Together We Are Stronger in 2017. I heard this. It's super heavy. It's like hardcore riffs. It almost sounds metal to me, but it's super strong. They have a very unique approach to their songwriting. And then they put out, let's fast forward to 2020 with their new single, The New Insane. This is the first song I heard of them. I watched the video, and I was like, what in the Nine Inch Nails awesomeness is this? It's so good. It's dark, it's heavy, it makes you want to bang your head, and it's just great music, and I feel like it's so refreshing. This is what we need in rock, although you can barely hear the guitars on this one, it rocks so fucking hard, like, it's perfect. And then we got their single, also from 2020, it's 11:44, as in 11:44 p.m. or whatever. I don't know what it means, but it's such a great song. This one is super riff-oriented song. Such a bunch of talented guys. And Jamie puts like 10 pounds of shepherd's pie onto this because the vocals sound so British. It's undeniable. And it makes you want to just talk in a British accent, I can think of so many British singers like Ozzy, like David Bowie, like even fucking Johnny Rotten didn't sound as British when he sang as Jamie does. And it's beautiful and it's so good. And this band, I hope these guys are here still. Since the recording of this episode, I failed to inform myself that Counterfeit are in fact no longer a band. On November 11th, 2020, some of the members issued a statement on Instagram saying that they no longer will continue as a Counterfeit, and they have put the band to rest, which is absolutely tragic because I really had so much hope, and I believe these guys had so much potential, but I still recommend that you check them out. Their music shouldn't die with them. It's amazing. And lead singer Jamie Bauer is going to continue as a solo artist, and he will have a new single coming out just about now. Should be out now. So go check it out. Go check out Counterfeit and Jamie Bauer as a solo artist. And now we're going to take it back to Los Angeles, California with the Pink Slips. This is such an amazing band fronted by none other than Grace McKagan. That's right, McKagan as in Duff McKagan's daughter. Although this shit sounds nothing like Guns N' Roses, but it rocks just as hard. These guys, I think they formed maybe all the way in 2013. It started out as a duo with Grace and her friend Jamie Brooks, and they were like just singing and playing acoustic guitar and doing like Amy Winehouse covers kind of shit. Then they put out a little EP that since has been deleted. I don't remember what it was called. I just remember one song off of it, which was called Femme Fatale. And that song still sticks with me, but it's nowhere to be found on the internet anymore, as Grace deleted everything when she found pretty much her new sound in 2016 with the single I'm Ready. And it's dark, and it rocks so hard, and it's punk rock. And it also, I don't know if it's garage rock, I don't know if it's like whatever, skater, stoner. It's not any of that. But it fits that California vibe. It fits that, like, make you want to go skate, make you want to go fuck shit up. But it also makes your soul want to boogie. And it's really great. I get so high off of this. Then they came out with the single Gimme, their EP Trigger in 2018, which is an absolute banger. And we got the songs Texas and Trigger. I don't even have the lineup. They're so underground that I don't have the lineup. I think I know Charlie Anastasis is on bass, and that's Charlie Anastasis on bass, and guitarist Sam De La Torre, possibly Trent Peltz on keyboards. That's all the information I got. And Grace, obviously, such a great front woman. Her live performance is so great. She creates this character, and it's kind of like Blondie on speed with 10% more fuck you. And she has a great voice, and they really stumbled upon something unique, unlike anything that I've heard before, but I definitely want more. Then the song Texas begins with this bass riff that it's so good, like boom, 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 and it's just great, man. It makes the electricity run through every bone in my body. And then I got the song Trigger out of the 2016. Okay, it's 2018 EP, Trigger. And that song is really good. It's so dark, but at the same time, it's very punk rock, and it has that break in the middle. It has such a powerful riff, fuzzy guitars all along, and it goes into that. And man, I'm gonna take that riff with me to the grave because I'm never ever gonna forget it. It's so great, and that just gives me life. So go check out the Pink Slips. They have pretty much an album's worth of material between the EP and the singles. Sweet Talker, Seek You, Miles Away being from this year. And I really, really hope to see more of the Pink Slips. I hope they make a new album. I hope they make a full-length record because this is so good. And it's really the new shit that you should be listening to. Pay attention to the Pink Slips. And we're going to keep it in Los Angeles with this band called Lily. You might want to check the spelling on that. That's with a double I. Lily. 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 This band was introduced to me by my very good friend Pablo. Shout out to Pablo if you're listening. Again, like they're from Los Angeles, California. Formed in 2018. That's like super new, and they are super refreshing. Singer Dylan Nash, guitarist Sam Torre, bassist Charlie Anastasis, and drummer Max Morando. The first thing I noticed when my friend showed me this band was that they share a bass player with the Pink Slips. And I was just watching one of their videos, and they also share a guitar player with the Pink Slips. I don't know if it's Sam Torre, but because there are two guitar players, but one of them is definitely in the Pink Slips as well. So they're coming up from the same scene in LA, playing house parties and playing at the Smell, which is apparently this club in LA that's like the new CBGBs where all the indie bands go and play, and it smells. I haven't been there, but I've only heard of it. But I want to go and check out some bands in there. And they came out swinging with their 2008 single Toro, which is really great. Out of their EP, Hold Up, I Can't Fool Anybody in This Town. And this band is so refreshing, man. They rock so hard. They got it all, you know. It's kind of indie, but it's rock and roll to the bone. They have like indie influences that I can't place because I don't listen to indie music. But it says right here some of their influences are Foals and Rage Against the Machine. And I think that's a pretty accurate thing to put together because they have that kind of really heavy riffs. Some of them are really bluesy, some of them are straight up rock and roll, but the delivery is so different, and they mix in these indie sounds, you know, on guitar, and the singer's so great. What's his name again? Dylan Nash. Oh my God, what a great front man. Check out their live performance on YouTube if you haven't. They're so good. They're so heavy. They're electric. This is what rock and roll needs right now because it's modern sounding. You know what I mean? I feel like there are so many new bands out there trying to make it, but they're doing the same old shit, kind of like Dirty Honey, for example, which is a very talented band. But I feel like I hear Aerosmith meets AC/DC meets Led Zeppelin, you know? And we've heard that so many times that it's easy to forget about these bands because you can do that really well, but you're not going to do it as well as Led Zeppelin did, you know? Greta Van Fleet. Yeah. So I feel like we need something more. It's okay, like you can keep it rock and roll, but you can also make a new sound. You know, the delivery, it's all in the interpretation. It's all in the performance. And I think that shows with all the bands that I've put together for you. And I got a few more that I may be doing soon, but we'll see. But, you know, from Counterfeit to Bass Drum of Death to the Pink Slips to Lily, rock and roll is looking bright. I smell it, man. Rock and roll is going to make a comeback. This stuff is sounding current. It's exciting to listen to. And it rocks, you know. I feel like any rock and roll fan can get into this, regardless of what you like. And like I said, these bands are mainly kind of like on that skater vibe, California, chill, garage rock kind of stuff. But to me, as a guy whose favorite bands are Guns N' Roses and Aerosmith and all that stuff, I love these bands so much. They give me a different kind of high. And as long as it turns me on, I don't care what it is, you know, and all of this stuff, it's refreshing to listen to. And it's young bands that are bringing it and that are rocking so hard, and the future is looking bright. So go check out Lily with a double I. They have a new single out called Wash, and their debut EP from 2018, I Can Fool Anybody in This Town. I hope they're working on new material because it's sick. And to wrap up our journey into the depths of the rock and roll ocean, I'm going to be talking about Deep Valley, an American rock duo from Los Angeles, California. I thought they were from a deep valley in California. But it's actually spelled deep as in D-E-A-P and valley as in V-A-L-L-Y. I love a good misspelling in a name of a band. These girls just guitars and drums. Lindsay Troy and Julie Edwards. They have 2 albums and a number of EPs, and they rock so hard. These girls rock a lot harder than a lot of the guys that are trying to make it in rock and roll. They were formed in 2011. Their debut album, Sistronics, came out in 2013. I got the song Baby I Call Hell on our playlist for you. The whole album is a banger. I love it. Very much in White Stripes fashion. Just drums, vocals, and bass, right? And Lindsay Troy has such an amazing tone that just fills the entire room. You don't need bass with this. She uses a fuzz. I don't know what fuzz it is, but I need to look it up because it's a fantastic tone. I love myself fuzzy guitars. And they met in a crochet class in LA. Isn't that the most punk rock thing that you ever heard? It's very different. I wouldn't call it's more alternative, but it has riffs. Anything that has fuzzy guitars to me rocks hard. And then their album Femigism, it's their second album from 2016. And we got Royal Jelly for you on our playlist. This album is a little bit more trippy, it's a little bit more psychedelic, but it's rock and roll to its core. They are rock and roll to the bone, in my opinion. They actually have a new single too, Bring It On, which I just heard. It's pretty cool. And they put an album with the Flaming Lips called Deep Lips just this year. I haven't heard that one, but it's probably worth checking out. I don't even know how I came across this band, but I'm so glad I did. Both of their albums, I love Sistronics and Femigism, Lindsay Troy and Julie Edwards out of Los Angeles, California. These girls are the shit. So go check them out. And that has been it for another episode of the Brain Dispenser. I hope that you will enjoy the submarine ride through the deep oceans of California all the way to Oxford, Mississippi, even though there's no ocean, but we take it onto the river, and then we go to London and then back to California, digging up all these treasures from the great beyond. Because there are so many pearls to be found in the ocean, it's just a matter of looking for them, and you shall find them. I have been your captain, Steve Guns, and remember you can find the playlist on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. All you have to do is hit the link in the description wherever you're listening. It's in there. Or look up the Brain Dispenser on Apple Music and Spotify, and you will find the playlist there called Bands That You've Never Heard of. If there are any bands that I have missed, if there are any bands that I should hear about, please let me know. You can send me an email at thebraindispenser@gmail.com or a DM at thebraindispenser on Instagram, at Steve Guns on Instagram, that's with a double N. And yeah, keep rocking. Give these bands a chance because they are so great and they will rock your fucking socks off. And that has been it for me. To you, good night.